So hello folks, we're gonna make some bread today, but I'm going to do a different kind of bread. I am going to use the Rejuvelac because I came up with this recipe because I don't want to make bread with just the Perrier or the Pellegrino. I'm using Pellegrino. I like Pellegrino. I think you need something extra because the bread with just the Perrier or the Pellegrino, it really has no taste and has no flavor. This is the thing about the yeast bread. The yeast really gives your bread a really good flavor, and we are looking for flavor. So I came up with this recipe for this bread, and it's really light. It is soft. It is spongy. It's good for toasting, and you're really going to enjoy it because it is not hard and dense. And you don't want this kind of hard and dense bread because, again, you're not going to enjoy it and you're going to go off this diet. You're not going to stick to this. And I want you to stick to eating this way. So you're not going to go back to the old way of eating. So what I decided to do, I have 3.5 cups of white spelt and a 1/4 cup of garbanzo bean flour. Now I have tried this recipe with garbanzo bean flour, and as you know, garbanzo bean flour is it tends to be heavy. So I like to mix it. I'm always mixing stuff. You can do this bread with the garbanzo bean and the white spelt as I'm doing. You can do the white spelt with the brown spelt. You could mix. You just have to experiment and see how it is. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. Again, folks, baking soda is alkaline. It is 9 on the pH scale. I don't want to keep going over this. It is alkaline, and we need the baking soda together with this fizzy stuff to give the bread a lightness, to give it flavor. And then what I decided to do was to add some Brazil nut milk to this and some Rejuvelac, the Rejuvelac that I made the cheese with. So if you want to know how to do the Rejuvelac, go and watch my video about how to make the vegan cheese. So I have my Rejuvelac here. So I have 4.5 cups of flour. Sorry, 4 cups of flour, 3.5 cups of the white spelt, and only a 1/4 of the garbanzo bean. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I'm going to mix this, the dry ingredients. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sea salt. These are all your dry ingredients. And now for the wet ingredients. I'm going to do 1 cup of Brazil nut milk that I processed and put through the cheesecloth and a strainer. I'm also going to do 1 cup of the Pellegrino. You could do Perrier. I usually use Pellegrino. It's the same thing. It's that mineral water, the natural mineral water. So 1 cup of milk, and this dough has to be like a pancake batter. That would also help your bread to be soft and tender. And I'm going to do 1/2 cup of the Rejuvelac. Now all of this, the Rejuvelac, all of this is going to come together, and all of these elements, this is chemistry here. All of this is going to come together. The culture of the Rejuvelac, the fizziness of the mineral water, and the baking soda is going to come together and give you this light, tender bread. So this is it. This is it. This is all it is. So I'm going to mix this in and incorporate this in, and then we'll get back. So you see this batter. This is what you want. This is the consistency. This is a little bit heavier than like a pancake batter, but this is perfect. So this is like a quick bread. It's not like an yeast bread where you have to let it sit for hours and hours, especially if you use a small amount of yeast or if you have your natural yeast. This is a quick bread. So I need you guys to do this, and you're going to see the flavor, because it's not just Perrier and salt. This has other things in it that's going to give your bread flavor, but it's also going to have it light and not so dense. So I have this loaf pan here that I'm going to just pour it in. Pour it in, not all the way to the top. This is good. You see, this is all you do. It's a quick, it's like making pancake, but it's bread. Because I have some left over here, because what I want to do is to have, I'm trying to make a bun. I got this little pan and I'm trying to make a bun for my burger, which I'm going to show you guys. So I want to do the whole kit and caboodle. I think this is good. This is good. So I'm going to use this as a demonstration for the bun, for your burger, and then I'm going to put the rest of the batter in here. So do this, guys, because I've done this before and the bread is just delicious and tender. So I'm going to put this in the oven, 250 degrees. I have a new stove, new oven, so it has a convection dial, and convection cooks much faster because the air is just rolling around in the oven. So again, you check your oven and see what the real temperature is. I'm going to do this 350 for about 40 minutes. So I'll get back to you and show you what this looks like. So guys, here is this beautiful bread, and I got a really good rise on it. I mean, this is the best non-yeast bread that I have made. It's a really good rise. So this is gonna come straight out of the pan, and see how this looks. But my family doesn't like when I mix the garbanzo bean with the flour because they don't like the flavor. They prefer when I do it only the white spelt, or if I add the brown spelt. Because the thing with garbanzo bean, it takes over everything. It takes over everything. I thought maybe I could just put a half a cup, 3.5 cups white spelt, half a cup of garbanzo bean, and it wouldn't just take over everything, but it did. But I still think it's good, and I think it's gonna taste delicious. I'm going to cut this open to show you when this is cool. I just took this out of the oven. When it's cool in about an hour, I'm going to cut it open to show you the texture of it and what it looks like. Okay, so this bread has been cooling for about an hour, but it's still warm. It takes a little while, but it sounds really good. So I'm going to cut a slice here and show you what it looks like. It's cutting really nice, and you know, make sure you get a bread knife to cut your bread. You see, this looks, I could see those holes in it. This looks really, really, really good. So I think you should do this. It is quick. It's like a quick bread. A quick bread. You don't, it's not a yeast bread that you have to let it sit for hours and hours and hours and come back and go back. This is very, very easy. So you can do this. It is light, it is delicious, and it's not too dense. So please do this, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Look at this. Look at this. I just wanted to show you this, the other side. See? And it had a good rise on it. It's not dense. It's soft to the touch when you squeeze it like this. Okay, so please do this and take care. Bye-bye.